Good afternoon, everybody. Welcome back to my channel. As usual, we have lots of glare on my glasses, so I'm just going to take them off. There we go. Anyway, as you saw from the description, I went to a very unique estate sale. I actually went last weekend, and then I went back this week. Last weekend, I also bought patterns, but I only bought I bought 20 patterns. Turns out one of them was cut, so I don't know what I'm going to do with that. I'll show it to you in a minute. And I felt like that wasn't enough to do like a little show, right? So I didn't. But I went back during the week and I got some more stuff. And I thought, well, I should do a little show. So here's what happened. When I went there, I looked at patterns and hello, how are you? And I looked at patterns and I only found the 20, and one was actually cut up a lot. Actually, I'll talk about that in a minute. And she had a lot of children's patterns, and I wasn't going to get children's patterns, but I told him, if you find more patterns, because he thought he had more, let me know. So then he contacted me and he had found like another 20 patterns. So I was like, okay. I think is it 20? Yeah, I think it was 20. Anyway, so I went back and I got some more stuff. Plus, I got some other non-pattern stuff. And then I'm going to show you this thing because it's a whole bin and I can't possibly show it all to you, but I'll show you some of it. It's right here. Oh, excuse me while I lean over here for a split second. Okay, so I've been crocheting. And there was a whole bin of this kind of yarn, Astra, in these sizes. So these are, I think they're called a half skein. I'm not sure. They're not a mini skein. They're a fair amount of yarn. And it had all these colors. Here's some beige, But the thing is it was a whole bin. Like, here's some that I put in bags. It had a slightly basement-y, musty smell. But I recently found out that if you don't like that, you can wash your acrylic yarn. You just put it into a laundry, like a lingerie bag, throw it in your laundry with some mild soap, and you can wash it. And then you throw it in the dryer in the same lingerie bag. And voila, you have clean acrylic yarn. So I'll just show you here's more of it, but it was a whole bin. And an issue that I kind of had with this estate sale was it was the woman's house, but she's in some type of long-term like nursing care. And so her son, and I guess it was his wife, because there was this woman there, have been using it kind of for storage. So there was no actual furniture. It was just boxes and boxes of stuff and some rugs rolled up. I think there were a couple pieces of furniture. There was like a chair here and there and stuff like that. But this woman was a crafter. So we're talking boxes and bins of yarn, ribbon, thread, sewing patterns. This other stuff I'm going to show you, some bindings I'm going to show you that she had, and just like everything you can possibly imagine. And she did multiple crafts. So there was all the yarn. I saw all of her knitting needles at one point, all of her crochet hooks at one point. I did not grab them. But the whole house had that kind of like mildewy, musty smell because I don't think they really paid attention to anything. Luckily for me, all of this yarn was in a bin, and it was the kind that locks, or some of you call them totes, that locks on the side, right? So the bin itself, the outside was kind of not so great, but the inside, these just have a slightly musty smell. Not mildewy, they're fine, they're clean. So I have them sitting in bags, and I put some of those Downy Unstoppables in there to like get the smell better. And if they still smell a little too musty to me, I will just wash them before I use them. But I'm not kidding you. There's probably 100 of those skeins in here, at least. I could be off, but it seems like it's that much. It's very hard for me to read your comments because I took my glasses off. Yeah. And, the thing is, too, is she wasn't actually living there. And since they were using that house as storage, I don't think they ever opened the windows. And there was definitely, you could smell the mildew in the house. In fact, there were several patterns. There were some really nice vintage patterns that were cut, but I don't know. They were stored in something cardboard because he had pulled the box, like the drawer out of the box. You know, this cardboard things you used to be able to put together with the drawers in them. And you could see the mildew on those patterns. So I passed them up because they were just, I think they were too far gone. But I did find some really cool stuff. So let's take a look. We'll start with one of my favorite things that I found. I love these, so I was very happy to find one of these. It does have, you can see it's a little bit broken up there, but I just love it. Very 1940s. And let me see if I can do this. I don't want any of them to fall out. It's basically a complete set. Yeah, they're pretty much all in there. So I was like, great. That's totally awesome as far as I'm concerned. I got this. It's Christmas tree or Christmas. It's all Santas. It's bias tape, Christmas trim. Lots of this. This one, this rickrack is in the, I'm sorry, there's so much glare with the plastic. This rickrack is still in the packaging. And then I had this one that wasn't in the packaging in pink. We also had more in the white. And this is that mini rickrack. And then a little bit of green. Whoops. And a little bit of just a yellow seam binding. I didn't realize I grabbed this actually. It was shoved in with the rickracks. And then we had this. So cute. Can you see the flowers? How cute they are, right? Two of these. These are pretty recent, but it's just white piping. And then I found these. These are vintage. I believe that these are rayon. It's the Trim-X seam binding in this beautiful, like, scarlety red. I believe these are rayon, and I always grab them when I see them. And then there were these. So here's, let me try and get them so you can see the patterns. And it's very small amounts of this, but they're still so cute, you know? They're so cute for, like, you know, ribbon. This pretty brocade ribbon. There's actually quite a bit of this stuff. So I was pretty happy. I will show you the pattern this is the pattern that I didn't realize was cut. And then when I got it home and was looking at it, it was really cut. She had altered it. And so she had done this thing where she cut down to the size she needed, but then she had pinned the excess piece that she would have taken off. She pinned it to the pattern. And she left the pins in, but thank God they were stainless steel so they didn't rust. And she also cut down the jacket. She cut the jacket shorter. So there's like the two pieces for the jacket are in there. But all in all, she did keep it together. I don't know what I'm going to do with it. It's actually in my size. I don't know that I'm going to wear that kind of an outfit. It's very Matrix. That's what I was thinking. It was like the Matrix, right? So I wasn't sure what I was going to do with that. Oh, and by the way, when I had that, the haul I did a while ago, that was Halloween stuff, I didn't show you that I found fabric in one of the costumes. This is a white Swiss dot, but this was shoved in with one of the clown costumes. And it's this lovely primary colored giant polka dot fabric. So that will go in the fabric found in patterns department. All right. So without further ado, let's get into the patterns I got. It was quite a good haul. I ended up spending about $95 with this man over the two visits. I almost went back yesterday. I even thought about going back today, but I didn't. He was running it one more week. I mean, he's got so much stuff. When I tell you that she did every hobby known to man, I'm not kidding. Like, I saw like floss, which means she must have done embroidery at some point in time, because I saw a lot of the DMC floss, ribbons, sewing patterns, obviously, fabric, and then she had an entire bin that was just cut up pieces of kind of patriotic, red, white, and blue type patriotic themed fabric. She must have been working on a quilt. So she must have done quilting too. It's like, wow. I mean, but I get it, because I'm the same person, right? That's going to be my house someday. She also had a ton of cookbooks, and I was really like, wow, this woman is me in like, I don't know, 20 years, hopefully. you know. But anyway, without further ado, let's take a look at some patterns. So yeah, I love going to the estate sales too, because it's amazing. You never know what you're going to find. Like, like this kind of stuff. Right. And this, the fact that she has this and like never actually used it. So I was pretty happy. But anyway. All right. I know I say I don't do kids patterns, but I did this one only because I do, for some unknown reason, I have really good luck with layette patterns. So, if you don't know what a layette is, it's kind of like, it's a little bit of all of the different types of clothes that you're going to need for the baby right after they're born. They're usually a gift. And this one is all of it. It's got the receiving blanket. It's got the diaper covers. It's got, everything. So I grabbed it only because I thought it was really cute. It's a Karen Z. I've sold a lot of Karen Z's patterns. I don't really know who she is, but I've sold a lot of her patterns. And I thought that might actually sell. So, by the way, all these patterns are up online. I worked really hard yesterday and today to get them checked out and ironed a little bit and photographed and up online. So they're all up online if you're interested in any of them. We have this new look, which I just love. It's this beautiful A-line skirt. You can do it in kind of the midi. Well, actually, it's above the knee, so it's not midi. Or you can do the long version. And I believe the long version, oh, no, it's just, okay, it's just the illustration. I thought it had a slit, but it doesn't. It's just the illustration. But it's just a great, really basic skirt. And not for nothing, I love the whole Bonnie and Clyde look that she's got going. Yeah, loved that. Loved the Bonnie and Clyde, right? Another new look. I'm really sure I had this and sold this already. So it's like a vest kind of wrap shirt, sleeveless shirt. But I'm pretty sure I had this and sold this already. So obviously it's sold. This one, I probably shouldn't even grab this. I have so many patterns very similar to this, and they just don't really sell. This kind of dress is not real popular per se. It's not horrible. I mean, it's just a very basic, if you look at it, it's just a really basic kind of A-line dress, but they just don't sell anymore. They're not really in style. So we'll see. I did bypass, there was one pattern he had that was uncut that I didn't take because it was for a unisex vest pattern. I was like, no, we're not doing that again. We got enough vest patterns. Yeah. That's the only vest you're going to see. I got to tell you, that's the only one, because I bypassed the other vest pattern because I said, no more vests. I'm swearing off of them until vests become really popular again and come back in style. I'm swearing off them. This is one of them calls 8-in-1 patterns from the 90s, but it's really great. Can you see it's got, most of these are mock. They're mock wrap skirts. In fact, that's the only line drawing. But like the 8 different styles of the mock wrap skirt that you can have. These are actually in, unfortunately, no particular order. I just kind of threw them together. Just a separates kind of thing, just basic separates. The nice thing is she was a larger woman. So if you are noticing, you will notice that most of these patterns, here's Kathy Ireland, by the way, they go up to 2022. Not all of them. There were a couple that were only like 8s and 10s and up to 12 to 16 and things like that. But most of them went up to 20 or 22. And I love getting plus size patterns because there really just aren't enough of them around. And I was digging this thing. I got to tell you, digging that look. Just some really nice, she had a couple formal patterns. I'm wondering if maybe at some point in time she was doing, like she was doing taking and sewing for formal wear, because that tends to be pretty, like a lot of people do that. Only one big Vogue, designer pattern, DKNY dress, and it's kind of a hoodie, but not really. My dog's over here. And here we go. She's got some of these plus size lifestyle kind of patterns, which is great. Good for her. She was smart enough to get the wardrobe pattern so that you have like all these different things to choose from. I really love this pattern. I was very tempted to hold on to it, but I decided not to. I decided to, you know, give it to the gods of patterns. Another just really basic separates patterns. I think this one, I thought this one was for stretch knits, but it's not. Woven fabrics. Then there was this. I was looking at this and I was like, I remember when these dresses were in style. But I think they're kind of coming back. I swear I saw something really similar to this online on, I think it was Kohl's. And I was like, oh no, they're coming back, right? But they're not the drop waist ones. They're a regular waist, but they're kind of that farm girl thing. That farm girl, I don't know what to call it. It's not the milkmaid. It's kind of farm girl. It's kind of a sundress. Yeah. I know. I love the wardrobe patterns too, Pam. I always try and buy them because I love it that you can do a skirt, you can do pants, and you just have one pattern rather than having a pattern for skirts, a pattern for pants, which are nice too, because I do like the one that we saw, the 8-in-1 pattern. I really like those. Those are really great, the mock wrap. But, having to buy a different pattern for every article of clothing, not so much. I like the wardrobers. Then this is a fleece pattern. If this looks familiar, it's because we already have this one. It's the fleece pants, the hoodie, or just the jacket, made for like polar fleece. It's from like 99 or something. Yeah. Very nice classic suit. More workout gear. Butterick. This is for stretch knits. No, Olivia, you show up as ISO Slow, but you used to show up as Olivia. But Pam, yeah, Pam, you show up as Pam. You show up as Pamela. Donna, I guess it's pronounced Ricci. If this one looks familiar, this is another pattern I already had. There were a couple of the patterns I bought from him that I already had, so which was fine. Not a big deal. This one I thought I had, but I didn't. And, actually, this one here, this is funny. He had 2 of these. So the first time I went there, this was in the patterns that I bought. I'm sorry I didn't show you the patterns, and I have to be honest. One of them's already gone. It was just it was in Call's pattern for, you could do a full apron or a half apron. It was like the cutesy ruffled apron thing, but it's sold. I sent it out earlier this week. So, all right, this next thing, first of all, raise your hand if you either got this for Mother's Day or bought it for your mother for Mother's Day. It is the zip front, long sleeve bathrobe. Also sometimes called a house coat. I literally remember buying these for my mother. She really loved these after she retired. And, but I think yes, everybody has had one of those, right? Sheath dress, very 90s. Cute though. I mean, has some darting, so it's going to give you some nice shape, but very 90s. Here's the reason I think that she was doing some work making formal stuff. This only goes up to a size 12, not her size, but this is a formal suit. In fact, can you see that there are tassels on the bottom of that jacket? And there's the line drawings. And since there weren't a lot, but I did notice some of the ones that were cut were these more like fancy formal kind of things. And, she had the ball gowns and some of the other stuff. So I swear I had this pattern, but I don't. I had a pattern really similar that was just like kind of like this dress. But, that's okay. I'm sure it'll sell. For some reason, this kind of stuff always sells for me. And then she had a whole bunch of these. They're called Dress Essential. There's like 3 in a row here. But super cute. Like, here is a basic A-line sheath, 60s style. You can do it as a 2-piece. You can do it as a 1-piece. Very vintagey styled, even though it's not a vintage dress. This was a nice one. It went up to a size 20. So again, plus size. I love having the plus size stuff. Then there was this, also kind of vintagey in its own way, a little bit on the 60s side. Included the pants. This one goes up to a 22, which is great. And I think, yeah, this one is designed for stretch knits, or you can do wools, lightweight woven fabrics. This one was absolutely the one that I remember was designed for stretch knits, and it looks like it, but it's great, right? It's like the wrap dress, and then the wrap top, the pants, the skirt, the pull-on, the pull-on pants, the skirt. So just a nice little outfit. I did grab a couple of these. I thought this was so cool. This was a Learn to Sew pattern, and it's for a patchwork quilted bag. And I thought, wow, that's actually pretty cool for a good, yeah. I'm wondering if she did sew Mother of the Bride stuff, whether she did it for on commission, or whether she just did it for other people that were her friends. The fact that they're not cut is kind of odd, though. You would think that if she did do the pattern, they'd be cut, but whatever. And then one last bag pattern from Waverly. This was really funny to me because it has, I'll show it to you on the back. Aside from the fact that she got it at Goodwill, can you see that right there? That's one of the old cell phone. Remember when cell phones were flip phones and you could make the little holders for your phone? That's how old that pattern is. I think it was 2002 or 2003, but it was funny to me. I was looking at it. I was like, yeah, that's an oldie. That's definitely an oldie if that's the cell phone holder. So that was it. I did. I mean, I'm still talking to this guy online. I mean, I found this ad through Facebook Marketplace. I might go back. It's just, I only have so much room. It's only a 2-bedroom apartment. This entire room right here has so much fabric in it that it's insane. I don't know if any of you saw my Tuesday video. I found fabric at Goodwill, so go back and watch that. It's just one of my Goodwill Tuesday, my short videos. But yeah, so what else have I been doing? Not much. I've been just trying to get this room together and just, kind of inventory everything I have and kind of get like an eye on what I have. Now, I had discussed with you guys that I really wanted to open like a creative reuse center, that I wanted to call it Piney Creative Reuse, because that is the name that people down here are referred to as Pineys, because we're people that live in the Pine Barrens, not northern New Jersey, by the way. It's not a northern New Jersey thing. It's only people in southern New Jersey. And I would say it's from about Toms River down, because that's where the Pine Barrens start. That's where Wharton State Forest is. And I am 10 minutes from the Pine. Technically, I'm 10 minutes from where Wharton State Park starts. Not even 10. I would say closer to like 7. And then everything around us is the Pine Barrens. It's Pine Barrens that's been built in to that. It's not the Pine Barrens that's protected, which is Wharton State Park. So anyway, I took my first step last week and I registered and sent in the information needed to basically get a business license for my business. So I did it through one of those online things, which I probably shouldn't have done. But anyway, we'll see. So anyway, I sent them my money, sent them a thing. And yeah, so I'm starting the process. I'm very excited. There is actually here in Hamilton a storefront that has an apartment upstairs that is for sale, but it is so out of my price range. Like when I say it's out of my price range, it's not even near, it's not in the same neighborhood as my price range. How about that? That's a better way of phrasing it. It's not adjacent in any way to my price range. It's in a different county price range wise. But we'll watch it, because I know that there was a place here in Hamilton that was same kind of situation. It was like a store downstairs and an apartment upstairs, right? So yeah, I was thinking I could live in the apartment. There you go. So, and then I would kill 2 birds with 1 stone. But that place that was very similar. It was also like downstairs was retail and had an apartment upstairs, but it had more bells and whistles. It had like parking in the back and the whole, it had like a ramp and double doors that could fit like, you know, a wheelchair and all that. This other place I'm looking at doesn't have any of that, but that place was on the market for almost 2 years. Now, I don't know if it's been bought because someone just took this, the sign just came down. So I don't know if it means it's been sold or not, but I have a feeling that they came down a lot in the price. So I'm watching this place, see if it comes down in price. Yeah, so that's what I'm working on. Actually, it's not even my junior college. It's the state college, Stockton State, actually has a small business development office. And I spoke to a woman there the other day. So I'll be following that kind of, that'll be my next thing that I'm doing. Slow and steady, because it's, you know, I'm a little terrified. You know, obviously have to keep my job. And so I have limited hours that I could have a shop, but I could do it. And I certainly have the inventory for it. At this point in time, I could probably open tomorrow and fill a store with the inventory I have. I have so much inventory, including yarn. I have plenty of yarn. You know, but all of it, yarn, fabric, thread, all of it. I have all of it. So we'll see. I will keep you guys posted. So until the next video, which I have no idea when that's going to be, probably the next time I stumble across like a great haul like this. I hope wherever you are that the weather's good. The weather's pretty good here today. It's not super cold. It has been, but it's not super cold like it has been earlier this week. We got our first like real big chill, you know. And I hope that you're doing well and everybody's happy. And I'm most likely will not be talking to you guys until after Thanksgiving. So please, everyone, please enjoy your Thanksgiving. Have a great time with your family. And all of your moms, please don't stress yourself out so much, because I know that you guys do everything. So, you know, please try and not stress yourselves out too much. Yes, I'm very aware that there's lots of things for women, which is why I'm in touch with the state college, because that's the kind of thing they're going to help me do is the grants and things like that. The only reason I don't want to do a pop-up, Pam, is because the kind of stuff I have, so much of it is like little tiny stuff. Like, you know, I have like buttons on cards, and I have like, you know, things of pins. It would be very hard. I have seen people do like sewing type stuff at like flea markets and stuff. But even then, I can tell that the stuff they have isn't like the kind of stuff I have. Stuff they have is like, you know, they have 1,000 safety pins in the box that they bought off some Chinese company. They bought in bulk and they're selling, you know, like, and I get it. It's fine. But the stuff I have is different. I have like, you know, hey, I have vintage fabric. I have Bakelite buttons. I have, you know, celluloid buttons. I have vintage rayon trim that if you are a person that bias binding, that if you're a person that likes to do vintage sewing, this is the kind of stuff you're looking for. You want this authentic stuff. So I would rather have a store, and it'll just be, I can't even imagine trying to drive around with all that stuff and set it up and break it down, set it up and break it down and do like a pop-up store, because I also have another full-time job plus the Etsy, you know, the Etsy site. So it's just, too much for me. So anyway, until next time, have a great Thanksgiving. Stay warm, and I will see you guys on the other side of this holiday. Bye, guys.